Here we go. I'm doing it on my phone. Yay, we're recording. I've never done Zoom on my phone before because I never thought I could record it because I tried once and I just couldn't figure it out. But here it is. Yay. So just to recap, last call we talked about signing clients, closing sales, getting your clients results, etc. So this call is a coaching call so that we can cover anything that's coming up for you guys around signing clients, closing sales, and getting your clients results, or just anything clients, because that's what this program's about. So if you guys have anything you want, any questions, comments, concerns, coaching, that's the other C. Let's hear it. So who wants to go first? I think Rebecca does. I'm picking
okay. I'm good. It's been a day of coaching. Like I've been on 4 hours of calls, which is a lot for me for a day. I'm good. I'm in a good place. I just released my Black Friday bundle. I'm not any sales yet. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's all working always, no matter what.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe there's like a centimeter between the level of that I have right now. Everything is working and absolute certainty. And I would like to close that gap.
Right. So, if you guys can hear my dogs barking because they're about to be walked. I'm excited. Anyways, human things. Okay. They're done. So, I think when you move, like, I think when it stops, like, here's always what I do to reframe, to make sure, like, to get into the space that's receptive to things selling, or at least into a space that makes me feel good, because that's why we want things to sell anyways, right? We want things to sell so that we can make money. And why do we want to make money? So that we can feel better, right? We want to feel safe, secure, like we're important, like our work's valuable.
Yeah, there's like almost this space of like subtle anxiety. And I did take some Vyvanse today, so like that could be like, is this real? I don't know.
Right, but I feel like even when you're on Vyvanse, like, yeah, sure, that amps up your emotions, but it's never about the Vyvanse.
Right, totally.
Speaking from someone who used to take Adderall and who consciously shifted her emotions while being on Adderall, because that shit amps you the fuck up. So I think when you ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Let's start there.
My knee-jerk reaction is like, don't talk about your fears because you'll manifest them.
Okay, let's just pretend like we're in a safe little bubble that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Because like, here's the thing. This is really important that I say this. So when we don't acknowledge an emotion that's going on because we're like, oh, we can't talk about it, can't feed it, it'll make it worse, and then it'll manifest. If it's still going on within you, you're still feeding it anyways.
Right.
To talk about it so that we can shift it so that you don't actually attract it.
There's fear that like people won't sign up for my mastermind, that people won't do my Black Friday bundle, that I'm like selling a lie or something, that I'm not fully embodying what I'm selling. There's some fear that there's some energy of like overextendedness, like
I'm trying too hard.
No, like my lifestyle is like more extravagant than my earnings should. You know what I mean? Like I'm just overextended.
Like I don't deserve to have this stuff yet.
I don't deserve it. I feel like I deserve all of it. It's just like
my income doesn't match it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So when I say deserve, I'm not saying like you, Rebecca, as a person don't deserve it, but I'm saying like I don't know. Like I believe that I'm supposed to have like
nice things and nice experiences. I think the block is like fully believing that it gets to be easy.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
So I think so feels like overextended. It feels like selling things and upping my game, upping my income feels hard. And it feels hard because I feel like I'm not necessarily allowed to have it be easy right now because I'm not fully embodying my work.
Yeah, I feel like there's some level of not fully embodying.
So it is a worthy thing. It definitely is.
Yeah, probably. So it's worthy. So is it, okay, so let's see.
it feels hard to get this money right now to make sales because I'm not fully embodying my work, which means I don't deserve to just easily have these sales right now because I'm not, me being where I'm at, me being a human being I'm not being perfect. I'm not like fully embodying all the work I teach people. Fuck, I don't even fully embody my work all the time. Like we're human beings. We're works in progress. We always will be forever. But it's like, it doesn't mean you don't get to teach things. It doesn't mean your work isn't valuable. It doesn't mean what you have to say isn't going to help people. It doesn't mean your bundle isn't going to change someone's life. It doesn't mean your mastermind isn't massively valuable and that people don't want to be a part of it. Of course they do.
But it's like you have to be those things though. Like I do. I just feel like it hasn't fully manifested yet.
Tell me more.
I don't if it hasn't manifested yet. You know, like, I mean, I don't like. Like, I feel like I'm living in two worlds. In one world, I know everything is fine. I'm like deep, calm, peace, and magnetic and selling things. Like things are moving. I'm making money. I'm changing lives. Like I'm doing it. Then there's that other piece that's like, you've been like living past your means for a while now and it's time to pay the piper or something. Or like you've been like having like you've been spending more than you're earning. And now it's like, that needs to shift. It's no longer tenable.
So have you actually been spending more than you're earning? Or does it just feel that way?
No, I mean, I have. Yeah. I mean, maybe not last month, but like generally speaking, like that trend is shifting, but yeah.
Right. So that trend is shifting, which means you're starting to move out of this space where you're moving out of the life that is, I'm spending more than I'm making. So you're shifting out of it because you're making more money than you have been, or your income is going up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, why can't that be your focus? Why can't it be like, well, I'm not actually doing that because my income is growing, my income is improving, well, right?
Instead of it has been, but I feel like it's like, okay, well, like, it's almost like I'm scared I'm feeding the doubts by even talking about it right now. I guess I'm not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure.
So here's what I think. When we don't make our fears or doubts a big deal and we give ourselves space to talk about them, but we don't stay in them, right? Because then that's when it becomes an issue, right? Mm-hmm. And we just let ourselves be a human being with emotions, mm-hmm. and we allow ourselves to feel our feelings and look at what's going on there and then not make it a big deal and still decide, like, you know, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like I get to have the things that I want, even if I have like 5 extra pounds on my body. Like I'm still worthy of love. I'm still really attractive. I'm still sexy as fuck. And any guy would be lucky to be with me. Right. It's like that with the fears and the doubts and the emotions that come up. It's like, you still get to be a worthy human being. You still get to make money. Just because you have these things going on doesn't mean you're all of a sudden like not allowed to have the things that you want. Right.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm there though. Like I feel, and I'm not trying to be resistant to coaching, like truly. And so it kind of is coming across that way, but it isn't my intention. I mean, I think—
No, you're good. I'm not taking it that way.
Like, I'm pretty sure I'm embodying everything and like I'm doing the stuff. So I'm, you know, like it's.
So let's go back to that sliver of doubt. So that sliver of doubt says what?
Holy fuck. What if all of the universal law stuff like isn't actually fully truth? And what if you're leading a bunch of people on a slippery slope? And what if you're like there are success stories, but there's so many people struggling to make money as a coach. And it's like, can they all succeed? Will they all succeed? If I haven't fully gotten to a place where I feel totally successful yet, like, who am I to do this?
Right. So, I mean,
I'm being
okay, again. Right. So let's address those doubts then. Right. Okay. So if I'm not in a place where I feel fully successful, because I mean, that's a feeling, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I'm in a place where I don't feel free because you're locked away in a cage somewhere. It's like you can feel free when you're locked away in a cage or when you're out free roaming around, just like feeling trapped. You can feel trapped when you're in a cage, or you can feel trapped when you're free to move your body and walk around and do whatever you want, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you're allowed to feel good about where you're at. You're allowed to feel like where you're at's enough, but also, you know, receive and move forward on the next thing.
There's no issue with action. Like I'm taking all the actions that I would otherwise.
Right. And I'm not saying the action, I'm saying the feeling. Okay. So I'm saying like you're so it feels like this doubt, like the sliver of fear feels like there's this doubt going on within you. Like, what if this work actually doesn't work? What if I don't know what I'm doing? What if I don't know what I'm talking about? And what if I like lead people down this way and then they just walk off the edge of the earth and fall into the abyss or whatever? So you care about people and you don't want to do that to them. So you're not going to allow yourself to have what you want if you don't know what you're doing. Right?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, like I feel it right here. And it's like,
so how about this,
feels
Rebecca?
like only a few people really succeed in this industry.
That's not true.
I know, but like,
That's actually not true at all.
okay.
So here's the thing.
Compared to the number of coaches there are, the number of successful coaches, and I actually count myself as like a successful coach, but like I just see so many people that I'm like, oh God. That's
so here's
terrible.
The thing.
That's so judgy.
It's okay. You're allowed to have your feelings. You're allowed to be a human. But here's the thing, like that's not actually factual. It's not actually true. Right? But you have that perspective available to you right now because of that limiting idea you have going on. But it doesn't mean it's true. So here's what I always do. And here's what I did in the beginning of my business. And this is actually really fitting for the last call when we talked about getting your clients results and like really believing in your ability to help people. So this is super good. Always in alignment anyway. So don't make it about you, right? Don't make it about you and your ability to do the things. Don't make it about you and your ability to teach people. Make it about your ability to be aligned and receive the guidance to help the people, right? You're not the one helping people. You're the channel to help the people, right? It's not you teaching. It's you receiving and showing, right? And when it's not about you, you can't do this wrong. When it's about the thing that makes all things work and flow, and it makes the thing that keeps the planet spinning in perfect proximity to other planets, like the thing that makes the sun rise and set every night, the thing that, produces oxygen and money and successful coaches and whatever.
Why don't more people practice it?
Because they don't know about it. Not everybody knows about it. And it's not, that's why we're coaches. That's why we're here. Because we're here to tell everybody. You know what I mean? So this is what I did. Like when I doubted myself and I noticed it slowed me down, you won't sign clients. You won't get people in your offers if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, if you feel like you don't know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm doing. It's not that. Like my content bundle, like it's excellent. It's really fucking good.
So a moment ago, you said part of you thinks you're leading people down this thing that doesn't work.
I think that's more like the money mindset stuff.
Right. But you've worked with me for months now and it's been working for you.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And sure, you're not ideally where you want to be yet, but nobody is. Everybody's growing. Everybody's going on to the next, right? Mm-hmm. And when where you're at's enough, when where you're at's like good, when you're doing fine and you're allowed to do the next thing and go to the next thing in the next place and the next amount of money, like you just get to go there. You just get to have it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Instead of like, oh, it's not enough and this stuff's a crock of shit and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I feel like it's on some level, it's a really good marketing tactic.
The money mindset stuff. And it feels like almost like you're lying just to get sales for a marketing tactic.
Sometimes.
Because you don't fully believe in it.
Because I waver, but it fucking works.
I mean, obviously you believe in it enough to like use it in your life and you believe in it enough to pay me $10,000 for me to teach it to you.
True.
You do believe in it, you liar. Like there's just part of you that's like, that's just that doubt. It's not actually true. It's not actually real. You don't actually feel that way. It's just like an old story. It's just the old story of Rebecca who's like wants to fit in and do the right thing. But that's not who you are anymore. Let it go, bitch. Just be Rebecca. Let Rebecca teach on money mindset if she wants to. This stuff works. It really does. So here's what I want you to do after this call. I want you to YouTube Abraham Hicks Law of Attraction success stories. Okay.
Cool.
So open up a new tab and pull it up right now.
I mean, I'll just write it down unless you want me to. Law of. I love that idea.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're constantly paying attention to all the ways it's not working, or for the people who aren't doing it right, so it's not working for them yet, or the people who aren't succeeding yet, it's like, of course, it's going to feel like that's true, but that's not actually true.
Yeah.
So immerse yourself in the opposite.
Yeah, totally. Because you can law of attract proof that the law of attraction doesn't work. That's the
Exactly. And that's just what you did. It's not a big deal though.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's helpful.
Right. And so when this stuff works and when you feel like people need it and people need to hear Rebecca's perspective on it, because Rebecca's perspective on this work is different than anybody else's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to sell your things so that people can have their lives changed by Rebecca. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, you'll want people in your offers. You'll actually want it on every level. Like that sliver of doubt won't be there anymore. It'll be full on trust, faith. People need this. Like, I'm being of service and doing this work. Not it's a marketing tactic that I'm just trying to make money off of. Right. So whenever we feel like, and I actually did a Facebook Live about this a little bit ago, when things aren't selling, it's because our perspective is fucked. We're practicing a flawed premise. We're saying like, we're being too focused on the money. Right. And we're like, oh, I have to hit the goal. And oh my God, blah, blah, blah. People need to be in my offer so I can feel good about myself. But when we just make it about like our work is important and people need to hear what we have to say, and it's of service for other people to have our work, like the income goal is just kind of like the pressure's gone and we just get to sell it, and we just get to sell a lot of it, and we just get to get everybody in it.
And there's some fear about like keeping up with financial commitments that I've now made.
So like the mastermind, for example.
Yeah. And and rent and this trip to California and yeah.
Well, I think it's like when you really check in with yourself. I mean, I'm not saying to like, okay, so there's two things. There's two ways we can go about doing this. Like for me, I will spend when it's, okay, so here's how I kind of spend. I don't really think about it. I just buy the things I want to buy. And if for some reason I'm feeling scared or tight on money, like I don't have to buy the thing right now. I don't have to commit to it right now. And honestly, a lot of your like the mastermind commitment isn't something like, is it something you're paying for already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I mean, it's fine. It'll happen. I'll make it happen. But it's like it feels tight.
Right. So I think when you just need a perspective shift on this. So how much more is your income, like your financial commitments gone up?
Like $2,200 a month or something.
Okay. And how much are you making per month ish?
$7.
Okay. So
last month I made $75.
Okay. So I think when you
before remote year, it was like 19, 20.
Right. And I think you're on your way to that. But when you say I'm only making $7,500 a month and that's only how much I'll make, or I'll make less or whatever, it feels tight. It feels restricted. It feels like this is a bad idea, right? It feels like I can't handle this. But
well,
when you're
like 4 so far this month, but that feels like it should be further along. It should be faster. It should be like I want to hit 15 this month, and it's like it's 4 and it's the 22nd, and it's like that's not good.
Okay, so there's like 8 days left in the month. That's like an eternity. That's an eternity for this business, for this line of work. Like,
yeah.
When you're okay, so pretend like you're making like $100,000 a month. Just go there for me for a second.
Okay.
So I'm making $100,000 a month. So
I'm not even worried about it. I'm just enjoying
right.
Shit.
Right, but we're gonna do this anyway. So, so you're making $100,000 a month, right? And there's 8 days left in the month, and you always hit $100,000, right? So that would be like around $25,000 per week, and there's 8 days left in the month. So when you're making $100,000, isn't it normal? Isn't it logical? Doesn't it make sense for you to make $25,000 in a week? Mm-hmm. Right?
My logical brain is like, yeah, but that's on recurring payments. Or shit that's already on autopilot, like Facebook ads pointing to a perfectly set up offer that's proven that's gonna sell.
It's like an energetic minimum. It's like when you're aligned with a certain amount of money per month, you make it every single month, regardless of whether you have these things set up in place, like these automatic payment plans or whatever. And I know that for sure because I had that same fear, that same doubt or whatever come up when I had payment plans run out or whatever. And my shift happened when I was like, cool, so I just get to make this much money per month. And so if I no longer have these payment plans going on at play, there must be an idea on its way to me, or money on its way to me, or the idea on its way to me that will create the income for this month or the payment plan for the next couple of months. And it's just like, it's just having that faith. It's just having that faith.
Yeah.
Right. But if you try to overanalyze of like, oh, it's not working, let me find every reason and excuse of why it's not going to work, like that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, totally. Cool. It's working.
So, I mean, it has to be like, it has to be more faith. Like you have to have more faith, Rebecca, and that's really what this is.
Yeah.
Like you want to be a part of that mastermind. You want to go to California. You want to pay your coaches. So you just fucking get to, right? But when it's like,
And
oh,
my
I can't handle it. And your rent,
And
obviously.
my rent, and I want to go shopping before California, and I want to get my hair done and get lashes done, and I want to look hot, and like, yeah.
So you get to do all those things.
Pay
Like
my credit cards and pay for insurance on my phone and blah, 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 all the things.
well, yeah, everything, obviously. So you get to do all those things just
And
because you get to.
who's my business manager, and okay, I'm gonna stop.
Right. So you get to do all those things, but when it feels like, oh, I have all these things that I can't keep up with, it's hard, scary. It's going to be hard and scary. But if it gets to be like,
it's fucking.
I'm not taking no for an answer. I get to have the things that I want because I fucking said so. And so I'm going to go get my lashes done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay all my bills. And this is not an option for it not to work. Like you don't hold space for it not to work. You don't hold space for it to be hard. You don't hold space for it to be like the scary, hard thing.
Yeah.
So you just can't be a victim of circumstance. That's what it feels like. It feels like I can't keep up with these things. Wah. You know what I mean? And it's not almost like wah, but it feels like you're falling into, a little bit of like this
reality is creeping in, and it's like, fuck current reality. It's like the old news.
And it's not even reality because it's not even reality. You know what I mean? It's not actually true. It's not like you're not being able to pay for things. Like it's not like you haven't been able to pay
haven't
for
had
things.
anything not work. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like you're worrying about this for no reason. Yeah, but when you just decide that you get to have the things that you want because you fucking decided you could, for one, you get to. Then when you decide that this just gets to work and you just have faith and you go, I don't really have to worry about it right now. These things have been working so far so good. I don't see why it can't keep working. Like I remember when I hit my first $5,000 month in business, and I wanted to maintain it. The kind of perspective I brought into that so that I could maintain it was like, well, I did it this month, so I don't see why I can't do it again next month. Right. And then it looks like it wasn't going to happen. And I was at like 3,000 or something for that the next month. And then all of a sudden I just kind of like surrendered and had faith. And I was like, $5,000 is not a lot of money. And then the circumstances and events lined up. And then I hit 5,000 again. And I think I hit 6,000. And obviously I could like fucking blow my nose in $6,000 right now. But it's like, it just goes to show like that was my first perspective shift. I decided it could happen again. Right. But if you're like, oh, that was a fluke, it couldn't happen ever again, there's no way in hell, like it doesn't get to you, right? Like you're creating your own reality. You get to decide how life goes. And it's all about the thoughts you're thinking, the things you're expecting, the things you're believing. So you just have to be choosy in those things, and the things you're thinking and the things you're believing and the things you're expecting. Mm-hmm. Instead of just falling into these old limiting ideas and being at the whim of those don't feel good. Then it feels hard, then it feels scary, then it feels like I'm insane. What am I doing? I can't keep up with this.
Yeah. I feel something, so that's good.
Yeah. So it's not actually true. You're fine. You're doing fine, and you're going to make more money and more money and more money and more money. Seriously. Like, there's no way in hell you're not going to make more money. And then when that's kind of the direction you're moving in, you keep up with everything. You keep up with everything. And if there's something that isn't aligned right now, you're going to feel called to like not do it. Mm-hmm. But it's not because you can't. Really, it's not because you don't have enough.
In Malibu, like I think it's gonna be really fun.
I agree, and I think just you being around Amanda will really
help.
Yeah, really help.
Well, it helps to be around you, so I like. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, but I feel like there's something really powerful about hanging out with somebody in physical proximity, being in person. You get to be in their aura.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah. Right. You feel good?
Yeah. Well, I feel a little more in touch with what was actually going on, so I think that that's good.
Right.
And a little more like my feelings turned on a little bit.
Right.
You know.
Right. So I think it's just shifting it. Now that there's awareness there, you just get to shift it.
Okay.
So practicing the news story in all of the ways. So $15,000 is not a lot of money. It's normal for me to make. It's fully plausible and possible for me to make this much money in a week because
I have like, if all the people who have told me they want in on the retreat or on the mastermind by me or purchase the mastermind, like that's a bunch of $2,500 deposits. I have like $1,000 more, I think, in just like recurring payments this month. I have my Black Friday bundle, which is $497. It's like in the queue. It's all there. Lots of people are reaching out to work with me.
Right. So just be Rebecca and just chill the fuck out. You have everything there. Like you have the resources
There's
available
nothing
to
I'm
you.
not doing, basically. There's nothing
Right.
and there's no way or space that I'm holding back. Like,
Right.
there's nothing.
Right.
Like, I'm acting as like 100K Rebecca.
Fuck yeah, you are. Right. So let's pretend
I'm
let's
all, so I'm looking at what's there, but like.
right. So right now, real quick, let's pretend like you already hit $15,000 for the month.
Okay.
I already did. God, I'm so relieved.
Yeah, I just feel good. I also feel like this is normal. I feel like I'm back. I feel full trust in the universe. I feel what?
So are you feeling that? Are you feeling those ways now? Like day to day? Are you feeling like I'm back, bitches? Are you feeling like faith and trust?
A lot of
the times.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then
perhaps not consistently, but totally consistently, but way more than ever before.
Okay, so this is how we make it consistent. You ready for this? So you've already hit $15,000 for the month. Now what's your goal for next month?
30K.
30K. All right, so play with 30K. What would that feel like?
30K would be like it's time to hire some people.
Okay, so
maybe. I don't know, actually.
So I hit 15K and now I'm setting this goal of 30K. And then I go through the month, my 30K goal month, and I just start locking in these payments. People are paying me. I'm at 26,000 for the month, and now I'm at 27. Now I'm at 30. Now I'm at 32. I actually went over. That's cool. So I just made $32,000 this month.
Feels disconnected. I feel disconnected from it.
Okay, so we went too fast. Okay, so you hit $15,000 for the month. And then your next goal is 30. So when you really feel connected to 15,000, like I already hit 15,000, is 30,000 your goal? Like really take a second and check in with that.
I think I just want to do 15,000 again.
Okay. Why?
I just want to feel stable.
Right. So you hit 15,000. You did it once, you do it again. So let's pretend like you've hit
many times. That's the thing.
Like, no, I know you have, but let's think right here.
Sorry, I'm just
It's okay. Let out your feelings to be a human being. Okay, so you hit 15,000 for the month. You decide you want to make it again, and so you kind of lock it in more deeply, and it feels like, well, I've already made.
It's like, why am I playing with all this magic? Like, what this? I don't even want to be having this conversation. I don't know. I'm just thinking it's like, why? There's some judgment that I even have to talk about the law of attraction. Like, I should just be successful and not even have to talk about money. This should be like, this is boring and silly and like,
So you mean talk about money?
Suck. Like there's this idea that like I suck that I'm even having this conversation.
Why? Like that you
everyone in my family is successful except for me, and I suck. They're on a more traditional path, and like having not being rich is like deeply uncool. I was given every advantage. The fact that I'm not like in a different place right now financially is just a sign that I'm like a loser of a human.
God, that's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my entire life. So let's go back.
It's some of the deeper.
No, it's okay. Yeah, share your feelings, but I'm just not going to validate them. So, okay, so it's kind of like the weight thing, right? So if I lose 5 or 10 pounds or whatever these weight things that we like to think of that will make us feel sexier or more confident or whatever, and it's like, can't right now just be enough? Can't we just feel sexy right now? Can't we just feel sexy with the extra 5 or 10 pounds? Can't we just feel good? Can't we just feel like we're desirable? Can't we feel like we're wanted just as we are, right? Can't we accept ourselves as we are right now with the extra 5 or 10 pounds, right? So it's like doing that in transit to your next financial goal, right? So can't you just, so when you being successful, that means you're all of a sudden cool. You're good enough now. Like people like you you have nothing to feel bad about. You have nothing to be ashamed of anymore.
Like me. That doesn't feel like, I feel like
people
like me.
So like whatever it is though. So like, I'm not a loser anymore.
I'm not I'm somehow like safe. I'm somehow like respectable and somehow like not this like trashy person who talks about money on the internet. There's that. That's another judgment.
So why would it make you trashy to talk about money?
There's a mean girl inside of me.
Everyone has one. Get over it.
Yeah, I have this talking about law of attraction and money mindset is like so trashy. It's not.
No,
what
it's not.
like us do.
You
don't talk about money. It's like our family friends are probably like, oh my God. Like there's this like deep inner rejection and judgment of what I feel called to talk about.
So we just have to go bigger picture with this. So when we know that we have this, in Abraham Hicks terms, we have everything we want in our vortex, right? So like, and in our vortex is being accepted, is being free to talk about the things we feel guided and led to talk about and teach about and make money from and whatever, we just get to do those things. Mm-hmm. So when we go bigger picture and we just make it about tuning into the broader perspective, right? And stop making it about what other people are thinking and holding ourselves back and worrying about like judgments or fears or not making it or whatever. And we just surrender to that broader perspective, who knows we get to the broader perspective, who makes things work, the broader perspective, who lines up everything for us. Right. Then we surrender to that broader perspective. And from that broader perspective, we're guided to talk about these things, mm-hmm. right? Like money, like manifestation, like law of attraction. Right. And so can't you trust that broader perspective? The broader perspective knows you don't want to be judged, knows you want to be loved and accepted. So can't you surrender to that nudge to talk and teach about these things and know that you'll be fine, know that you'll be supported?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the money. It's like, you actually posted a Facebook status about this the other day, Rebecca. What the fuck?
This is what I'm saying. I'm there most of the time, but we're just going to the sliver. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just hosted a really powerful call where we shifted a bunch of people's mindset for like 3 hours straight earlier, you know, and then another call. So it's like, I'm very convincing, like, and not even very convincing, but it's like, I know it. I know everything intellectually, and I'm feeling it a lot and more by the day.
Right.
But you asked about the sliver, so.
Right. No.
It's the sliver.
I'm just giving you shit. You don't have to explain yourself. You're good.
But I am. Like, am I a fraud because I still have some?
No. God, I still have shit, and I'm allowed to teach and talk about whatever the fuck I want. Amanda Francis still has shit. Fucking Kat Latorzo still has shit. Fucking everybody still has shit.
Kat Latorzo, she's crazy bitch. I'm sorry. She was like 5 flews over the cuckoo's nest.
You're allowed to feel your feelings. You're allowed to have that opinion about people.
It's because she fucking told me my content should be illegal and I should be banned from Facebook. And then, like,
it's okay. We don't all have to get along.
I literally had to block this girl. Whatever. It's neither.
Yeah. I was just okay, how about let's say Reagan? Do you know who Reagan is?
Yeah, her stuff is awesome. I think they're friends, but like, I don't care. Kat is like.
Right. So but what I'm saying is like we all have our shit. Why? Because we're human beings. Yeah. Because we're here and we're always going to want more. And in the desire for more, we have resistance, which means we'll always have shit. Mm-hmm. So we can feel like a fraud for the rest of our lives, or we can feel like we're allowed to do the things we want.
Yeah.
Your call.
Yeah. Okay.
So it just has to be a decision. Like, I just get to do these things now. I just get to make this money now.
Some of that stuff out. I feel like there's some movement. Like every time I do that kind of work, it's like it strips off another layer, you know?
Right. Good. Cool. Do you feel better? Movement. Good. That's good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, then it's just like continuing to do this, and please watch the replay, okay? What?
Because I love you. I'm also just tired. I don't know. I feel tired right now.
Me too. Yeah, you can hop off and go to sleep.
Okay. Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye, Daphne.
Bye.
All right. Hey, Daphne.
Hey, just the 2 of us.
Yep. How do I make this go away? Close. There we go. All right. What's up, love? How you doing?
Yeah, I think I'm doing great. I'm doing so much better than yesterday after the shit show yesterday.
Right.
So, yeah, I was just wondering, I pretty much related to almost everything Rebecca said. So that's just alignment, how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she articulated a lot of my fears better than I could in English. So that was really, really good. But what came up for me is when I'm not at work, I have the focus to do the work constantly. So when I'm on my bike to work, or when I'm riding home, or when I'm, eating breakfast or dinner or in my bed. But during the
Okay.
day,
At work, you're not focused on it, right? So
I'm too
here's
distracted.
right. So you don't have to be doing this work 24/7, 365. The whole point of being a human being and living a life is to live a fucking life, right? To be a human being and to feel good and have fun and like be present and enjoy what's right in front of you, right? So whether that's your day job or just spending time with your family or friends or going out and having a fucking cocktail or whatever the fuck, right? Like, be here now, and then when this stuff comes up, like, deal with it. But it doesn't have to be something you're constantly doing, right? So don't feel any guilt, shame, or like I could be doing more. Like, you have a life.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
afraid that I'm slowing it down when I'm not consciously adding the momentum in the right direction.
So when you're not in a space of digging, of shifting, of like changing the story or whatever, then just feel good. That's it. Like, because that's why you're digging and shifting and flipping and changing the story anyways, is to feel good. Right? You don't have to be doing this stuff 24/7, 365 in order to manifest the fuck out of your life.
Yeah, most of the time I won't feel good or bad. I'll just be busy making calculations or filling spreadsheets.
Well, you're always feeling feelings. Just because you're not aware of it at that point in time does not mean you're feeling feelings.
Mm.
Right? Because you're a breathing, feeling, emotional human being. You're gonna be feeling feelings, right? So what you can do is just like, when you're doing spreadsheets at work, when you're having your fucking 9 to 5 job experience, like, you can just make sure that you're enjoying yourself because it feels good to enjoy yourself. Right. So it's kind of like that same mentality of like waking up in the morning and being like, today I decide to feel good no matter what. Right. So it's like bringing that energy, that mentality, that decision, decisiveness, and feeling good into your 9 to 5 job. And it's like, there is no, and then just dropping the guilt or the shame or the weird energy around I should be doing more mindset work.
Yeah, because sometimes I think, is it enough that I spend most of my free time doing this work? Since I can feel the energy shifting and things coming up, but it hasn't manifested yet. So then I start to doubt, is my day job getting in the way because I just spent so
That's
many
not helpful. That's not a helpful perspective. Literally, this is how you know. This is how you know if it's interfering in your ability to have. It feels bad when you think about it. It feels bad when you think that thought, right? So if it feels bad when you think that thought needs to be changed or not thought in the first place, right? And that's enough, right? So does it feel good to think the thought of my day job's getting in the way of me manifesting things? No, it doesn't. You're just looking for another reason or excuse to not have the things that you want, right? You're looking for another reason to say it's not here yet. But you could just be enjoying your life. You could just be not worrying about it. You could just be doing the mindset work when things come up, right? And then it's like, when your attention is no longer fixated on, let me try and figure out all of the reasons and all of the whys and all of the things that are getting in my way of having, because it's not here yet, it's not here yet, it's not here yet. You stop perpetuating the energy of it's not here yet, and you allow it to
come. Yeah. Yeah.
Give yourself a break.
Myself a break. Yeah. I'm a bit of a, I wouldn't say overachiever, but I like to get stuff done. Yeah.
Right. But this isn't a thing where you can just check it off the list and be done. This is like lifelong work, right? So you never get done, ever.
Yeah, I really have to.
So do you want to be in this mentality, like this rat race mentality for the rest of your life, or do you want to enjoy the fucking life you're living?
Yeah, I think that's a big shift. Just because the industry I'm in, it's just, you kind of get swept away by everybody around you.
You don't have to, though. That's a story. That's a story.
Mm.
You get to have whatever experience you want. So if you don't want to feel swept away by everything else around you or by everybody else around you, you just get to be Daphne and live your life and feel good and do spreadsheets and then quit your 9 to 5 and have your amazing successful coaching business.
Yeah. I catch myself a lot of the times. I'll see things I want to do, like VIP days or courses or whatever, and they'll be like in the next year, and I'll be in this mindset of at my job, oh, I don't have enough holiday days to get off, and I don't have the money, and
So that thought right there shut it down, right?
yeah.
You got to have it until you said that, until you thought that.
Yeah, I keep shutting it down and shifting it, but it keeps coming up.
Well, that's because, okay, instead of trying to shut it down and shift it, why can't we just like not make it a big deal and be like, oh, that thought came up. Whoa, well, that's the thought that's getting in the way of me having it. So I'm going to disengage with this, disengaging. I'm going to go back to my life. I'm going to go back to feeling good. And if I ever think this thought again, I will be aware of it and I just won't go there next time. Right? But it doesn't have to be something you have to figure out right now. Like this stuff is a process, right? This stuff is going to take some time and you have to just give yourself grace.
Yeah, that sounds easier than I'll be going, no, that's not true, that's bullshit, and I have all the time in the world, and I can feel the money coming to me, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, and then.
But do you actually feel that when you say that?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to convince yourself of that?
Well, it depends on the situation.
Because if you feel it, then that's good. That benefits you to do that. But if like, or you can just not make it a big deal. Like I always say, like the hardest part, and this is probably a story, and I say that every time I say that, disclaimer. Because, I'm still a human being doing this work too. But the most important part is what I should say is awareness, right? And so awareness means becoming aware of the thought you're thinking that's getting in your way of having or getting in your way of feeling, right? Make it about the feeling, not the having. And when you feel, you get. When you feel, you receive. When you feel, you have.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like so the bigger part of you, right? Like we're going to go all Abraham Hicks for a second. So the bigger part of you, Daphne, has this successful coaching business, is no longer working her 9 to 5, has all this time freedom, has the money to do the things that she wants, has the car, has a vacation house somewhere that she loves, right? That's where the bigger part of you is, right? So Daphne already went there. Daphne already has that, but here in your current life, you're here, right? So you're being pulled because this is like, you're connected to this, right? So if you just feel good, you'll naturally just gravitate here, right? And be in this life. So it's your job to just feel good. And then when these limiting ideas and limiting beliefs or whatever come up, it's just your job to disengage with them and not make them a big deal and then do this work. But if you're like, oh my God, this is the thing. And this, oh my God, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. It's like, you're still pulling yourself apart. Right. So as long as you just don't engage with these thoughts that contradict you having what you want, you'll just go here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I should do that more often than the actively switching because I can now think about clients and I can think about money and feel good. And in the past, I couldn't. I would feel
right.
excited.
So instead of here's one more thing that I feel in your energy right now. So I can think about clients, I can think about money, and I can feel good. But then you shift into this mentality of like, okay, well, where is it then?
Yeah.
Right. And that's a problem. So what I want you to do now is just not let yourself go into the where is it, and just go, I feel good when I think about clients. I feel good when I think about money. That's nice, and just stay there. Don't move on to, but where is it? And you have the ability to do that.
Yeah. I think just writing it down because that's a big one. Yeah.
And then just feel good and live your life. That's it. That's it.
That's it. The end.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
Yeah. This morning I was on my bicycle. I like to do a lot of the mindset work on my bicycle, and for the first time I was thinking about it like more, I deserve it, like more of the kind of spoiled brat way kind of thing,
right? And that's helpful to move energy if you don't feel deserving of it initially, right?
Yeah, it was the first time I didn't, I get to have it, but of course I get it, of course, I mean, it's like that, a bit more aggressive. I can't really describe it any other way. Yeah, that felt different. And
if that feels better than what you were previously feeling, it's an improvement.
Yeah, because I still feel like what I was previously feeling had a bit of hoping in it.
Right.
instead of knowing.
And when we can't go from hope to positive expectation, it's because there's an limiting idea getting in the way. So we need to throw a temper tantrum. Right.
Yeah. So I think I'm only now moving in from hoping to positive expectation.
Right. So positive expectation, you'll just naturally gravitate there if you don't fall into the same old pattern of where is it?
Yeah.
Because then it'll just come. It'll just come. If you just enjoy yourself, if you just feel good and you just go, when I think about these things, I feel good. So I shifted the energy on it. That's cool. I feel good. Right. And that's it. And you just do that over and over and over. You'll be inspired. You'll be guided. You'll be led, and these things will happen. They'll start showing up. Right. That's all you have to do. That's literally it.
Yeah. 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 Also, a fear that has recently been coming up now is that I'm realizing I have all this support now and all these programs, and that they're running out, and then I'm kind of in the scarcity mode. Oh, I need to get some money to enroll in something new to make sure I continue to have the support to continue to move forward.
You're always supported, Daphne. Shut up. That's so not true. Because here's the thing. Like, you're always supported. Why do you like being coached by me? It feels like I'm not in this by myself. You're never in this by yourself. And you get to be supported. You get to have coaches or whatever. Like, you get to have those things if you want them, and you get to have the money for it, but don't think you need it. You fucking don't. Nobody does. There's so many people who have never hired a motherfucking coach in their entire life, or have never joined a fucking program and built really, really massively successful, financially successful businesses. It's not a need. Right? And you have that support and that guidance available to you always. Hello, bigger version of you. That's always there, 24/7 attention on you and your desires, guiding you constantly. Better and more than any coach ever could.
Yeah, that's true. I can feel them following me around everywhere I go.
Right.
I know they're here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have that support. So I want to have these programs so I feel supported. So I feel like I can do this. So I feel like I'm not doing this by myself. So feel that way now, and you'll have if it would benefit you to have a coach, if it would benefit you to join a program, you'll have the resources available to you and the inspiration available to you to move forward on these programs.
Yeah,
but if you don't have that right now, you don't need it right now.
I think it makes me feel safe.
Right. So how can you feel safe without it? By acknowledging your bigger perspective, by acknowledging you're being guided, by acknowledging you're never alone. And shit, you can feel unsafe with a coach, trust me.
Yeah.
You can feel alone with a coach. You can feel unsupported with a coach. Right? That has nothing to do with a coach.
That has to do then with my beliefs about a coach.
It has to do with you, the way you're feeling and the way you're thinking your thoughts when you have a coach. Right? It's kind of the same thing with money. Like, the money doesn't make you safe. You just think, like, you just allow yourself to feel safe when you have money, but it's you the whole time.
Yeah.
So just allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to have it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird because I'm shifting and I'm moving forward and I know all these things intellectually, and then sometimes I can still feel, it's not panic, but it's like this fear in the back of my torso. Like, oh my God, girl, you're 60K in debt. What are you thinking? Telling people about money and buying shit, and you should just like eat peanut butter and live on water for a year to balance everything out.
So I believe we talked about this with Rebecca too. So I'm not like, here's the line. The line is, don't lie to people. The line is, don't say like, oh, I've done all these things that I haven't done, but you get to help people. If you have a desire, if you have a calling within you that says, I want to talk about money, I want to teach people about money, I want to teach people about businesses or whatever, you get to do that. There's a perspective that you have available to you right now that would benefit somebody, right? That people need, that would help them grow their business if that's what you feel called to help people with, right? And you don't need $100,000 in the bank to feel qualified. You just get to be qualified. Life made you qualified.
I think I have a bit of the shame that Rebecca talked about, but then the other side, because she was saying that her whole family is rich. Well, my whole family is poor, and money was like, people with money are bad. So it's still lingering somewhere that if I'm talking about money, I am superficial.
No, you're not. That's not true. Right? So it's like when that idea comes up, you have to be like, well, that's not actually true. because people feel like shit about money. A lot of people do. People will allow the subject of money to ruin their lives and ruin how they feel and make them feel like shit. That's why you're doing this work, right? Because you care about people. You want to help people feel good. There's nothing superficial about that. And you get to have money, you get to make money, and you get to help people do whatever the fuck you want. Right? So when that limiting idea comes up, it's your job to shift it and to change it. It's not actually true, though. There is no such thing as a problem. There is no such thing as a fact. It's always just what you believe.
Wow, that really touched me, the part when you said money makes people feel like shit. I mean, then it's anything but superficial.
Right.
Yeah.
To go change some people's lives.
Yeah. I mean, it did make me feel like shit, so, you know, everybody wants to go on a trip around the world and have nice clothes and, you know.
Right. And if somebody says they don't, they're fucking lying. Like they've just convinced themselves that they don't want it because they don't think they can have it.
Yeah.
But if all of those things were freely, readily available to them and everyone else, they would want it. They would let themselves have it.
Yeah. Yeah, if there were like 20 sports cars lined up in the street with keys in them and each and every person could have one, I don't think they'd say, no, that's superficial. You can have my sports car.
Right. If there's only 20 people on the planet and there's 20 sports cars and they all just got one, sure shit, yeah, they would take one. They would let themselves have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, right?
Right. So I feel like this is a good stopping point for you. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I have no idea of the time. Oh, it's midnight here.
I love your dedication to be on these calls.
Yeah, I'm just like, stay awake. I want to be on there. And last call, I fell asleep at like 9 in the evening. I just knew I wasn't going to make it. And this time I was just so dedicated. I knew I have to get on there, you know.
Right.
It makes a difference if you're on here versus if you're watching a replay. It's different.
Right.
Replays are great too.
Right.
But,
Definitely valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Awesome. So I think we've talked about a lot, and I think you should just go get some sleep and process.
Yeah. I'm going to do that.
All
Thank you very much.
Of course. Of course, of course, of course. All right. I think this will, let me just make sure. 1 second.